Hello, beautiful people. I have Mr. Enty Lawyer today, who has been so bloody kind to come and give us his take on everything that's happening in Hollywood with the royals and everything else. How are you, Enty?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. No floods or anything in your area.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of rain, but no, the flooding, I'm okay.
But there was a flood, wasn't there? Like, I mean, in the area where you live.
Yeah, I mean, there's been floods like on and off. It feels like for the past month, and but right now everything's okay. Just a lot of rain.
You would think that in California, being a first world country, that you guys would have that under control.
You would think so, but part of the problem is that, um, they've especially here in LA, they've got like channels where the LA quote unquote river runs when it's flooding, so it's not that bad in LA. But like certain places, like in San Diego, they don't have that, and also there's no place for it to go. It doesn't sink into the ground as fast as it does in other places. So any kind of rain just kind of really makes things miserable. Plus, it
There's
doesn't
no,
rain enough where so nobody knows how to drive.
is there a lot of accidents? Because I can imagine people not used to driving in the rain.
Ton of accidents.
Well, I'm glad that you're okay and that there's no flooding right now in your area, Enty. So before we start, I want people, please, I'm going to leave all the links for Enty, his Instagram, his X account, his website that I religiously watch and read, and of course you are on YouTube, right, Enty? Because I subscribe to Enty Lawyer on YouTube. That's yours, right?
It is mine. I mean, I don't go on there very often. I think I only have like 11,000 subscribers because I don't really go on there very
Oh,
often.
sorry, 11,000, of course. But yeah, and you have, of course, your podcast. I'm going to leave all the links for you guys to go and show him some love because he's amazing. And I'm so grateful that you're here, Enty. So I wanted to talk about what is new in Hollywood. I told you that I'm just fascinated by this thing about Alec Baldwin, Tyler Perry with Christian Keys, and this thing with Oprah, and of course, the royals. But what is your take on Alec Baldwin news?
I think that the Alec Baldwin news, I don't think that anything is actually going to happen. I mean, I've been talking about this for probably 2.5 years. I mean, it happened in October of 2021.
Wow, that long ago?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're, February now of 2024. And, it's gone back and forth, back and forth. There's there was always talk, okay, well, it's going to be manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter. And then basically it kind of disappeared. They dropped all the charges. And then there's a prosecutor. It's an election year. So the prosecutor's like, oh, well, let's charge Alec Baldwin. And honestly, I think he should be charged, but I don't think anything is going to happen to him at all. And I just, what happened was, I mean, we can get into great detail about it, but, there was in the days after the shooting, Alec Baldwin reached out to the prop master, the film's director, a camera operator, a sheriff's detective investigating it, the husband of Helena Hutchins, who's the person who died. And then the attorney for Hutchins sent Baldwin like a cease and desist letter. And this investigative file back then was just 550 pages. Now it is something like 2,000 pages long. And Alec Baldwin was trying to say, look, I never fired the gun. It was never meant to be fired. And he said that the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office may lack the skill and to investigate it all. And then, so way back in like 2022, the sheriff turned everything over to the district attorney. And they said that 4 people could be charged. And it was going to be like the director, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the prop master, Alec Baldwin, and then this other guy who actually did make a deal with the police, with the district attorney, and nothing happened. And so it's a very kind of, he's always said no. He has settled the lawsuit that Helena Hutchins' husband filed against him. And it was a horrible deal for the husband because he basically just agreed to take a portion of the profits from this movie that they were filming, Rust, which is never going to make any money. So that was a horrible decision.
Why would
And
you think that a husband would do that? I wouldn't want to have anything to do with anything like that, And I think, Why would he do that?
I don't know. I mean, I've always said that that was a really horrible decision on his part. And, there's people that are suing Alec for, certain things because, he was shot and stuff. But, there's a video on Alec Baldwin's cell phone from like a week before he kills Helena. And it shows him with a shotgun. And Alec kind of shoots in what appears to almost be in the direction of the individual filming the video, which he had always said that he didn't do. There's other videos that show him running out of the church with a pistol. And basically he points the gun again at the person who's recording the video several times with the pistol as he shoots it. And then he texted his assistant 2 days after the shooting and told his assistant, you got to help me because I have to delete my archive and I don't know how to do it. And there is a video on Alec Baldwin's phone of him shooting a gun in a female voice that sounds like Hannah, who again was the prop person, saying nice, which shows that he had training with her, and he's always disputed that he had any training.
But didn't Hannah say that she sent him an email to come and train or something safety, and he never showed?
Correct, but he did have some training with her. And then, like I said, he texts Helena's husband saying, I don't think the Shannon Fay Sheriff's Office knows what they know. They don't know what to do. And then, look, I didn't mean to, the gun was never meant to be fired from that camera angle. And it was an angle on the gun being drawn. And, he said, I thought that the gun was empty. I don't know.
But Enty, and I've always said this, had he, because I know that from what's out there, Hannah said that she wasn't even in the church, that she wasn't even allowed in the church to check the gun, because there is a protocol that he was aware that you have to, first of all, they weren't shooting a scene, right? And they were supposedly just testing for lighting.
Correct.
That's number one. Number two, the protocol of what's law is that the armorer has to hand them the gun and check it right in front of him before handing it over to him. So I've always said that it doesn't matter whether there were 100 bullets that were real or not. That's irrelevant. Had they allowed Hannah Reid to come into the church, open the barrel, pull the bullets, and and you shake it to see if it's dummy round or not, they would have found out that there was a real bullet. And people are very, very careless. They think that dummy bullets don't kill. There are bullets. They just have, the powder thing,
Correct.
They still, if you get it in the wrong angle, it can kill you or very much harm you. I don't understand why people don't see that. He didn't follow protocol, and that would have, that was an avoidable thing. And I really think he talked himself into an indictment, because why did he do so many interviews?
He did do a lot of interviews. And Hannah has said, look, Alec Baldwin said that he watched Hannah, the armorer for the movie, load the gun many times. He said he didn't look inside at the rounds of the gun used in the shooting. He said that the gun was supposed to be empty for the rehearsal when Helena was shot, and then flash rounds used when they went to film the scene later. And while Hannah was alone in the sheriff's office for an interview, she called an unknown person and said, I checked them. They rattled, referring to the cartridges. They were effing dummies, in reference to a fake cartridge that looks like a live round. And Hannah told the sheriff's deputies that the purpose of the dummy rounds is to put them in the belt of the cowboys and in the revolvers for close-up shots so the gun doesn't look empty. And she said blanks open up and a little gunpowder comes out. And she was asked if live ammo is ever kept on the set, and she replied, no, never. And then she said she hardly goes shooting with 45 ammo, usually uses 22 caliber. And that she checked that all 6 rounds in the gun rattled and had a hole in the side, which indicated they were dummies. And she said that the box of dummy rounds came from their supplier, a guy named Seth Kenny, who said he borrowed them from someone else.
Yeah.
And Hannah texted Baldwin's assistant, the same one that Alec had said, you got to delete my archive. And Hannah said, I'm worried because Alec has never tried shooting with a holster, and asked if he would be ready to do the scene the next day.
Yeah, but the thing is, she said that she was surprised that they were using that, because there wasn't a scene that was supposed to be shooting, and she wasn't the only one with the key to the safety, right?
Correct. I feel like Hannah's the one that they can just dump everything on. I think that Alec thought, hey, you know what? Hannah's a nobody, and we're gonna make it seem like she's this horrible person. We're gonna make sure that she's the one who takes the fall for all of this. And so far, it hasn't come out that way. And if you think about, there's this guy who Serge Fetnoy, I think, or something like that, and he's been involved in some lawsuits and stuff. And he was the film's gaffer. So a gaffer is like a chief lighting technician. And he was standing about 6 or 7 feet away from Alec as the crew prepared for the scene. And basically, when Alex, takes the 45 from his shoulder holster and points it in the general direction of the camera, and the gun discharged, and one of the lawsuits said it was the loudest gunshot that this guy Serge had ever experienced on a movie set. I
can imagine inside a church with the echo.
Yeah. And he said, he felt what he believed was gunpowder and other residual materials from the gun directly strike the right side of his face. And he said that the producers and other crew members, and don't forget Alec is a producer too, and other crew members are failing to properly inspect the revolver, because according to the court papers, the movie's first assistant director, Dave Halls, called out cold gun before handling it.
But it was Dave Halls. It wasn't Hannah Reid.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. It was Dave Halls who called out cold gun. And so
then why was it crashing on that Hannah Reid when she wasn't even near anything there?
Because she's a nobody, right? She's a kid. She's like 20 years old or something like that.
Horrible. That's horrible.
And so, let's go after her. And so Dave Halls hands it to Baldwin, but he's the one who said cold gun. So it's his responsibility ultimately, because he's the one who said cold gun. But then, Alec, you got to check too. You can't just rely, because you have a gun in your hand, and you're the one now who pulled the trigger. And then Alec is saying things like, I never pulled the trigger. Okay. And that was a big deal.
Yeah, he said that in that interview with Anderson Cooper. Was it Anderson Cooper he did that interview?
I think he did with George Stephanopoulos.
Oh, just Stephanopoulos. Yeah, another lefty. Huh?
And so he does that, and he says, I never pulled the trigger. And at one point, like I said, the charges get dropped. And then the FBI gets its hands on it and stuff. And everybody determines, well, we can't get it to fire unless somebody actually pulls the trigger. And so when they did that, then again, like I said, involuntary manslaughter. I just don't think anything's going to happen.
They dropped the charges then?
They did at one point, yeah. When there was one group of people, the investigators, who said, well, we can't figure out what's wrong, if we can't figure out if indeed he pulled the trigger. And then the FBI did tests on it and said, we can't get it to fire without actually pulling the trigger. And we've tried and tried and tried. So that means that the trigger had to be pulled. And Alec, no matter what, he behaved negligently because he failed to ensure that the gun was indeed cold before he practiced with it. He should have double checked to make sure that it contained no live ammunition. And his duty was, you need to handle this gun as if it was loaded. Yes. And to not point it in anyone. And like I mentioned earlier, there are videos of him.
Pull the hammer back.
Right.
You need to pull the hammer back. If it's a Colt, you need to pull the hammer back, because if you don't pull the hammer back, it doesn't matter what you do with the trigger. I know, because I'm in the farm all the time, and we have those old guns here, and you need to pull back the hammer.
Right. But the thing is, he said, but pulled it back, but he didn't pull the trigger or anything like that. But he did.
So now, why was it resurrected? Because suddenly it was dropped.
Yeah, it's an election year.
What did this come about?
It's an election year.
Okay. Oh my God. I got to tell you something, Enty. This past year and this year, I have a feeling, after Harvey Weinstein and, what's happening with Oprah, because I think Oprah is angry. She's no longer relevant. That even with The Rock by her side, she got booed. With that thing with Maui. And then I find that these people is their downfall. What do you think?
Of which part?
That this year is like, these people are now, they're no longer untouchable. They're being touched all over.
Yeah. I mean, I think with Oprah, it was a long time coming. And here's the reason I think that Oprah is touchable to some extent. Although I think that you will find during her 70th birthday kind of year that there will be a lot of kissing butt up to Oprah. But don't forget this, and it doesn't really have anything to do with Harry and Meghan. Okay, let's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
delineate from that. Okay.
Way
This
before
goes from the fact that Oprah stopped her daily show. Okay. And when you stop your daily show, then all of a sudden you're not talking to tens of millions of people every day or tens of millions of people a week. You know, all of a sudden you are just some normal kind of celebrity who sometimes appears on television, has their own magazine or whatever, but people don't really read magazines anymore. And she is out, to a new generation of talk show hosts, whether it's Kelly Clarkson or Drew Barrymore or Jennifer Hudson. Um, and so she's not important anymore in that sense. Now, when the Harry and Meghan thing came about, you got to realize that Meghan is of an age where, in her mind, the biggest celebrity that she could sit down with, who was also going to make sure that nothing untoward was said or asked, is Oprah.
Yep.
Right.
Because
But
Oprah was after her and from the beginning.
right, exactly. And Oprah has not, Oprah has had her share of scandals, whether it's with Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, some other people that have come on her show.
Harvey.
Yes. So Oprah has scandals of people that have come on her show, but Meghan is of, like I said, of an age where she's like, who's the biggest celebrity on the planet who will also do interviews? And her mind immediately goes to Oprah. So, I mean, I don't blame Meghan and Harry for going on Oprah. That's the decision that they chose, but Oprah does not have the power that she once had. And then you can see this with the whole Color Purple revival and stuff, that everybody assumed that this thing was going to just sweep award season. And all we've been talking about Color Purple is all the fighting that's been going on with everybody.
Taraji.
Not just with Taraji, but Fantasia, everybody's involved. But Taraji is basically hijacked the tour to say, hey, you're not paying us enough. And Oprah, you didn't pay us enough. And then the feud is reignited between Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg. And, so Oprah doesn't even.
Has it reignited? I haven't watched that.
Yeah, that's why Oprah didn't go on The View to talk about the Color Purple or anything like that.
Snap. Didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are Oprah and Taraji obviously not getting along. And there are certain times where Taraji and Oprah were, promoting together, and it looked like Taraji was going to cry. And
she cried in an interview, didn't she?
Yeah. I mean, and there's other times where she's held back tears. And Taraji's just basically saying, look, the whole time she's been using this platform to fight for equal pay in Hollywood, and that she doesn't have that, despite the fact that she's pretty close to an EGOT winner. So, it's, I understand.
She's amazing. I love her. I think she's fantastic, and it's like, wow. But and also, I saw one thing with Gail being so nasty, like trying to belittle her when she was interviewing. I think that's the one where Taraji cried. I think that Gail was interviewing. Oh, you don't think of quitting acting because she talked about quitting acting, right, Taraji?
Yeah. I mean, because she did cry. This was like right before Christmas. That she was on with Gayle King, and that's when she was saying, this is her famous quote, "The math ain't mathing."
I know, I saw that. I mean, she's got her says. Yeah, but
she does. And she said, I'm tired of working so hard, being gracious about it all, but getting paid a fraction of what everybody else is getting paid. And that Oprah didn't stick up for anybody and try, it wasn't like Oprah got a pay cut or anything like that. So, but Fantasia didn't get, they got people that didn't really care how much they got paid. But except for like Taraji, who was like, hey, look, I've got an Oscar nomination for Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I got Emmy noms for Empire, and I was in Hidden Figures, and just basically, if she was not black, or if she was a guy, she'd be getting paid what everybody else is getting paid. And instead, she was like, Oprah's just screwing me over.
Yeah, and did you hear what Oprah said? I don't know if it was the Golden Globes or the Emmys, where they asked her about this thing. I don't know why my name has been brought up. There were issues with the dressing. There were issues with the taxis or the cars. And I said, I'm going to pay out of my own pocket. But the producer said, no, it's not my fault. I try to be the savior. I'm like, is this woman insane? I'm serious, because Taraji wasn't complaining about the size of the car. And then Oprah says, well, it wasn't my fault. I was just a producer. It's the big studio. She was the executive producer.
Yeah, exactly. And Oprah has come out, I think it was probably like the middle of last month, and she was, talking about the car rental stuff and the trailer, and said, I was, Taraji complained and I stepped in, and that there's no bad blood. And I feel like over the last week or two that Oprah has really got through to Taraji, either by writing her a check or something, because Taraji has kind of done a 180 on all of this.
I saw that.
Over the last like week or two. It's, oh no, there's no beef at all or anything like that. But there had been up until like the third week of January, middle of January.
And she was so public about it. I mean, what do these people think, that we don't check the internet?
I know.
It's like this Christian Keys guy he did a rant on YouTube. Or am I insane?
No, he did. I mean, Christian Keys has done that, and a lot of other people too. So and the problem is that when Oprah went to talk about it, she talked to Gayle King, I think, on a red carpet, and I don't remember if it was for the Globes or whatever, but she was basically, that's obviously Gayle King's not going to say anything bad at all.
Of course not. Oprah's her bread and butter. And her lover. No, I'm just kidding. Was she? Yeah.
No.
So she didn't say anything. And that thing, you know what, with Oprah, I've been saying this for a long time. Oprah is a Black billionaire. And I say the word Black before because there are not that very many. This is a woman who has made it her mission, in my very humble opinion, after she retired from her show, like you say, that she became very popular because the white population were in love with her show. Right. And I find that after she decided to retire, I don't know why she went on hating white people. It's like the United States is racist and this and that. This is a woman who, if indeed the United States was that bad, she would have never made it where she is right now. You don't do that in Iran or something like that. You know what I mean? In those kind of countries. And I find that she misses the fact that she was that influential before. And she's not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there was Oprah's List and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. And I think that, like I said, she feels like she's still influential.
Is she?
No, but she feels like she's still influential. And obviously she knows a lot of people. I just think that she, I don't know, she does miss the limelight. She does, miss being the person that, oh, let's do the Oprah list, or you win a car, you get a car, all these clips and everything like that. And, here's the thing. She's a billionaire and she could just rest and not do anything.
Exactly.
And it looks kind of petty when you go in and, will say, well, no, I fought for Taraji to get an upgrade on a car or whatever. You're a billionaire, maybe.
I thought I was listening wrong when she was talking about it. And then God goes, it's because you're Oprah and everybody wants to have your name in their mouth. I'm like, disgusting. And the thing with The Rock asking for money for Maui, The Rock even apologized. But Oprah went on Gayle again. And like, I don't know why they say that. And she's like trying to explain things, it's just, and with Monique.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the whole Maui fundraiser, anytime rich people are asking other people to give money and the total amount is only going to make a dent in your pocketbook, I don't understand that. It's like Alyssa Milano when she was raising money for her kid to go wherever he was going, like a baseball tournament or whatever. Yeah, and so she could have written a check for the whole amount and it wouldn't have made a dent. So why are you getting the general public to hop in on this?
How did she defend it? She said that she bought the uniforms or something like that.
I know. And her husband's even more wealthy than her. So
Really?
just write the check. Yeah.
Oh my God. What was her husband's name? What does he do?
He's an agent.
Oh, he's an agent.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know agents made that kind of dough.
Yeah, of course they can't. If you get 15% of somebody's $1 million or whatever. Yeah. I mean, is he a billionaire? No. Do they make a couple of $1 million a year? Yes. Can they afford to write a check to the football team? Yeah.
$10,000 and they get tax write-offs, right?
Yeah. I mean, so, Her husband does just fine.
And I wanted to ask you about Christian Keys and Tyler Perry. What's happened with that? I'm still sure that he was referring to Tyler Perry. I don't know if you heard this, but there was this gentleman, Vernon, something like that, who had sued Tyler Perry and Christian Keys because Christian Keys had sold Tyler Perry production the rights to stream All the Queen's Men, under the guise that he was the sole creator. And this gentleman sued Tyler Perry and Christian Keys because he said, I co-created that with Christian Keys. And apparently it was a big thing. And until last year, a month after it got settled, it was the court case. I did a video about that. It got settled, or it disappeared. And then a month later, Christian Keys was doing this video. And the rumor that I heard is that after, apparently, what's his name, Tyler Perry had to settle with that other gentleman, Christian Keys wanted to go back to the old arrangement. And Tyler Perry said, you're not the sole creator. I just settled the lawsuit with this gentleman, so I can't give you what, like, we can't go back to the old agreement. But I don't know if it's true or not. And this is why Christian Keys did that video, kind of like to put pressure on him. But then you said it could be another billionaire, that Geffen guy.
Yeah. It could easily be Geffen. I know that everybody's pretty convinced that it's, Tyler Perry, but I mean, Christian Keys has kind of gone out of his way. And again, it could be because he got a big check. Okay. But I'm just saying he has gone out of his way to, make it seem like it's not. And, Christian Keys doesn't have a lot of money. So, it was, I think, just a few days after, and I think you and I talked about it on here, but so it was like days after Christian went live, right, to talk about this years-long sexual harassment, right? But then, and everybody's like, oh, it must be Tyler Perry, it must be Tyler Perry, it must be Tyler Perry. But then there's this tweet about, he liked a tweet about Perry not being his harasser. And it was just like, okay, because he talked about that this guy made passes at him, offered him $100,000 to strip, once tried to grab his junk, and Keys claimed that this individual was somebody who was greatly loved and revealed their identity would have a significant impact on the entertainment industry. So if you talk about David Geffen, he is not greatly loved. Most people hate him.
That's what I was telling you, that he said that he didn't want to, because you're going to shoot the messenger because he's a well-loved figure and you will recognize his voice immediately.
Okay. But here's the thing, is that there's a lot of rich people and, in the industry, and a lot of ones that we would do. And then he said it would have a significant impact on the entertainment industry if they revealed their identity. So everybody's like, it's probably Tyler Perry because Christian got, famous through Medea and All the Queen's Men, which Perry executive produces. But here's the thing. It's unlikely really that he was referring to Perry, because why would you keep working with him? But apparently there is the story that Christian did actually, I know that there was a plan to, but that he did actually turn over audio recordings of the person's voice, not to police, because the original plan was he going to turn it over to police, but he did turn it over to his lawyers who have it. And supposedly one of his friends also has a copy.
Wow.
So there are the voice. Now, here's the thing. Tyler Perry's voice is not necessarily 100% recognizable. If I just played some clips of Tyler in different situations, you might not get it.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of gets me, because he's very, very clear that, that everybody would kind of, know his voice and stuff, and that it would, impact the entertainment industry.
But who the hell else can it be? Maybe in his mind, he thinks that everybody knows Tyler Perry's voice.
That's true, because he's worked with Tyler Perry for so long, right?
Yeah, and he thinks that Tyler Perry is that big that people would recognize him immediately, because, when you call your friends, how you recognize people's voices, and Tyler Perry he is a big guy in the industry, isn't he?
He's huge. He is huge. And there's not that many gay billionaires. Okay.
Yes,
And
another,
I
it's like
I
another unicorn, isn't it?
well I went looking. And then I was like, okay, then what is going to affect the entertainment industry?
How many did you come across that were black billionaires in the entertainment
Well,
industry?
he didn't say. Now, he didn't clarify. I don't think he said specifically that it was a black billionaire. And also, technically,
but he did imply that it was in the black industry,
right? But technically, Tyler Perry is barely at a billion, right? He's just touching a billion. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Okay, that's very important. I know this is a strain. Tyler Perry's never come out.
Oh.
Everybody assumes he's gay, but Tyler Perry has never actually come out as gay. He's never come out as bisexual.
Neither has Will Smith.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. Funny.
No, but I'm just saying that he hasn't. So if you go look at a list of gay billionaires like that have come out, here's what you get. Giorgio Armani, David Geffen, Stein Erik Hagen from Norway, which you know a lot about.
Yeah, you know him.
Peter Thiel, who obviously, but Peter Thiel, I don't think that would change the entertainment industry.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, because he made it sound like it would be the end of the, yeah.
But here's some different choices. What about Tim Cook? John Stryker, Stefano Gabbana, and Dolce. But I don't think that Dolce or Gabbana being involved with like this would change the entertainment industry. I feel like it has to be somebody from America. It needs to be somebody like a David Geffen. It needs to be somebody like, and I don't think it is Peter Thiel. And, but Tim Cook, what about, there's also GT Dave, but again, that's not going to change anything. Okay. That's not going to upset. Now let's go to African-American billionaires. Okay. And then there's not that many. There's Robert Smith. Okay. Well, I mean, he's important, but he's not gay, right? This is the thing is like,
he
Oprah.
Did say he was gay, right? He said that the guy was gay, or
he said that he's gay. So you have Oprah, you have Rihanna, who's obviously not the person, Jay-Z, Michael Jordan, Michael Lee Chin, who's Jamaican Canadian. But none of these people are. Tyler Perry's got $1 billion. He's got $1 billion. Bob Johnson is a billionaire, but you don't have anybody who is going to change the thing. Tiger Woods is a billionaire. So you only have somebody like
Tyler Woods is not gay. I mean, isn't he always in trouble because he's always dating these blonde chicks?
Which person? I'm sorry.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Okay. So Tiger Woods is not the person. Okay.
Yeah,
at all. Okay. But like I said, Tyler Perry has never actually come out as gay. So maybe that's the reason that Christian is saying, because it's not just saying it. It's like, now I'm saying that Tyler Perry is gay. I'm outing him because, like I said, he has never come out, and everybody knows. It's kind of like everybody talks about it, but because Tyler hasn't come out, then when Christian says it's a gay man, everybody goes, oh, well, it's Tyler. Well, Tyler hasn't come out. Maybe Tyler just, do you see what I'm saying? There's this conundrum that you have.
But I think that Tyler Perry being gay is like Harvey Weinstein being a apist with an R. In Hollywood, everybody knows, that it just nobody wanted to out him.
But there are people who say, look, Tyler Perry is obviously gay, should just come out. Tyler Perry should do
he doesn't do it.
But then there's other people like Tyler Lepley who says, no, Tyler Perry's not gay. I've watched him, with women and stuff. So, it just, that's the problem that you have here. And I don't out anybody, but I
am interested.
But like Tyler Lepley, the reason he came out is because everybody said, oh, I heard that you had a relationship with Tyler Perry. And he's like, no, I never had a relationship with anything like that. And Tyler Perry has been linked to women throughout his journey. Now, that doesn't say Kevin Spacey was linked to a lot of women too.
Yeah, of course.
And also, you know, there's other because I can't out anybody, but there is an extremely famous billionaire, extremely famous billionaire
I'd be
who
bluffing.
who owned, who owns like movie studios and has owned shopping channels and things like that. And everybody knows he's gay, but he refuses to come out. So then nobody actually says, dude, you're gay. And he's married to someone who is very, very famous, who's in fashion and everything, and has kids that are famous. And everybody's just like, it's been this lavender kind of relationship for 40 years. But everybody knows that he's gay. Everybody knows the guys that he sleeps with, because he's not shy about it. But if you ever try and say that he's gay, he will come and sue you.
That's insane. It sounds like Latin America here. I have friends that are married with kids, and they go to church and everything. But then I see them some Fridays, because I like to go to gay bars because they don't gay discos, because the music is fab and you don't have men hitting on you. They're all gay.
Yeah.
So and I see, what are you doing here? But you were, and the next day they're in church with their family, and they're like, that's insane.
Well, I mean, Tyler has a child with a woman. So, I mean, it's like, I think that's what Christian's kind of issue is that you have said it is a gay billionaire, but Tyler's not, I'm going to say Tyler's not, okay. I have to say Tyler's not gay, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
yeah, I know. But do you think that that's what threatened Tyler Perry most when he said that, when this Christian guy said a gay billionaire, because that was kind of like a threat to Tyler to tell him, listen, I am going not only to oust that you are sexually assaulted me, but that you're gay, which I guess is a terrifying thing for Tyler Perry from, if it's refusing to come out. I don't know why. I think it'd be more fun.
I'm not sure. I think that probably Christian, got paid, and, he probably won't mention it anymore. I just, it's very interesting that, he's in this, he's in All Rise or something like that, right? And that's on the Oprah Winfrey Network. So it all kind of just goes together.
That's actually quite insane, And now changing topics here I have to tell you, I saw a little clip from Harry and Meghan in that Jamaica. They were talking, this was recorded last year on when, I don't know what the hell it was. They're talking about mental health, and Harry's looking like an idiot and Meghan's looking like Bert with her eyebrows on, and Meghan's talking mental health. What it's with them, Enty? I mean, what do you see for them in 2024? Because we have this Netflix executive. They have a bunch of projects. And I heard whispers that Harry and Meghan want to do a documentary about the parallels of Meghan and Princess Diana. What's in their store for them? I mean, what do you see happening to Harry and Meghan? I heard that Harry was looking for a house on his own. I mean, what have you heard on that?
Well, I mean, I think that the Netflix executive, basically, I think it was Wednesday of this week, was the most, it was so convoluted. And they said, they talking about Meghan and Harry, they have a couple of unscripted things they're working on. And they actually have like a bunch of development, which is not a sentence. They have a movie in development, a scripted series that they're working on. So all very early development with a movie, a TV show, a couple of unscripted shows. But yeah, the movie's great. And we're talking about the movie like Meet Me at the Lake. Is that what we're talking about there? And look, a couple of unscripted shows. And then what did we get from Meghan and Harry the next day? We got them saying that they're going to go from the 14th to the 16th of February. They're going to go up to Vancouver, up to Whistler for the, it's 1 year.
It really bothers me. I don't know if you know this. I'm Canadian.
I know you're Canadian. So,
and I got to tell you to no end.
Well, I don't think that the Winter Invictus Games are going to come off as planned. But when okay, everybody in Hollywood, when they're like working on a project or something, they'll go, oh yeah, it's kind of in development. We're like shooting around some ideas. Variety always uses the term so-and-so circling a project. It doesn't mean. It just means that they got sent the script and they're like circling the project. It doesn't mean it. Executives are very good at not saying anything. And this is something this executive was basically saying, look, they got a couple of unscripted things. They actually have like a bunch of development, movie in development, but all of this, remember, their contract ends next year. So, and they haven't really delivered anything other than a couple of, the things that came out several years ago. I think that Netflix is going to probably take a pass because streamers, this is the math of streamers is different. Quote Taraji or whatever, the math ain't math.
Nothing.
And so what streamers have to do now, and if you go look at like an ad for like Peacock, if you go like if you're just surfing the internet and all of a sudden a Peacock ad comes up, you know what they're showing you? They're showing you Friends. Okay? Yeah. They know they know that the way that they can get you to sign up is to have these shows to binge watch. There is nothing wrong with these show Suits. I think the reason it was so popular is because nobody had watched it while it was on USA. And then all of a sudden there's a new show that you can watch. The same thing with Northern Exposure. It was never on streaming because the dude who ran it was like, I'm never going to compromise on the music. And so I'm not going to agree to pay the royalties on the music. And then all of a sudden he goes, I could really use a paycheck. Okay, here you go. Here's Northern Exposure on streaming, and that's the kind of thing they want. Netflix is paying $500 million a year to have wrestling every Monday night. And because they know they need people to come. Streaming is turning into cable. You need to have some kind of regular kind of thing. One-off movies are fine. It's great. But, the thing is it's not going to bring in a whole bunch of people. They have a deal. Netflix has a deal with Adam Sandler, right? And so Adam Sandler brings them a movie a year. And it's generally a good movie. I like Adam Sandler. And Uncut Gems, he should have maybe gotten an Academy Award nomination. He brings them good movies.
Why didn't he? That's really weird.
It is. And so everybody kind of, because I think he's always been known as a comic actor, so it's tough to like.
But he's amazing. So was Robin Williams. And I mean, I believe that comedians are usually very good actors because
they are, but
functional.
But Robin Williams had to do a bunch of serious roles before they finally said, okay.
That's true.
But he brings them a movie a year, and we can both agree that whatever Adam Sandler brings Netflix, it's going to be better than whatever Meghan Markle brings, right? And Adam Sandler brings it in at a reasonable amount, brings it in on time, and everything is perfect, right? He enjoys the thing. He doesn't have to go sell his movies anywhere. He and Netflix have a deal. Here you go. I'm just, that's what actors and actresses like. They like to have this continuity. That's why you see so many sign up to Hallmark to do all the Christmas movies or Great American Country to do those Christmas movies. They just like the idea that they don't have to do anything. It's kind of like going back to the old studio system of the 50s. But Netflix can't rely on that. Peacock can't rely on all that because you never know if a movie's not going to be a hit. And the problem is how much money are you going to commit to Harry and Meghan, who really haven't given you anything other than who they are? They haven't given you anything other than that, except for, say, Invictus Games. And so to say, okay, fine, you are going to give us Meet Me at the Lake. Perfect. Is it going to come in under budget? Is it going to be like an Adam Sandler movie? Is it going to come in and everybody's going to want to watch it? Is it something that people are going to want to watch? Because Adam Sandler appeals to a wide variety of audience members. And Meet Me at the Lake, it's a fine book. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not like, the whole world is like desperate to it's not like a Harry Potter book. It's not like a Hunger Games book. It's a nice, cute little book, and it'll have a nice little, cute little audience. And Netflix paid $3 million. They're going to pay whatever, another 10, 15, $20 million to get it made. And at the end of the day, they're going to go, okay, well, we paid $30 million for this. We could have got 2 Adam Sandler movies for the same thing, and a lot more people would have watched it.
Kind of reminds me that script thingy about The House on the Lake with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, but that was a very good movie that was popular and had 2 major stars, So if this doesn't work, I mean, why are these producers or people from Netflix still pushing Harry and Meghan? And what will happen what's happening to them if nothing comes off of anything really? Do you see them ever going back to the UK?
No, but here's the thing, why Netflix wouldn't. They're under contract with Netflix. Okay, so Netflix is not going to trash them, because they're hoping that in the year and a half of the contract that they have left, that they'll come up with some kind of magic. So Netflix is saying, they're not going to say, oh my gosh, they're the worst people to work with and stuff like that.
They're not going to be like Bill Simmons.
But Bill waited until they were gone from Spotify and then trashed them, right? He didn't trash them while they were still with Spotify. He waited until they left Spotify, because until the day it ends, you're hoping that something turns around and that all of a sudden they go, oh, look, Bill, I did 14 episodes last night because I got inspired. And Bill goes, great, fantastic. Let's upload them to Spotify. So until the actual deal ends, you're going to be really nice about it. But here's the other thing that happened this week with Meghan and Harry is that they lost 3 of their, people. Stop. Yeah, they lost 3 more staff.
I thought it was only 1. That living guy.
No, they lost. Let's see. So Ben Browning, who is an Oscar-nominated producer, he was the content director at Archewell. He is leaving later this year after his contract expires. So they're not renewing it. They are not renewing the Oscar-nominated producer. You have Farrah Taylor, the company's head of marketing, also leaving her role over the course of 2024. Then you have Bennett Levine, the production manager. He left in January, right? He left last month. So, but you have 3 huge executives leaving in 2024. And is there somebody to replace them? No, because it shows you that they are worried. First of all, they don't have enough money to renew these contracts.
Who's paying these people? Is it Netflix?
No, it was Archewell was paying them, but Archewell's paying them from the money that they were getting, say, from Netflix or Spotify or whatever. But
you stated that it's not very much because Spotify didn't give him that very much, right?
They didn't give him very much. But let's say, they did deliver on some Netflix projects. So what I'm saying is, like, somebody like Ben Browning is going to want $600,000-$700,000 a year plus, incentives on movies and stuff like that. He wants a package that's going to be a couple of $1 million a year. Farrah is going to want probably something that approaches $1 million and maybe with some commissions and stuff, because head of marketing, right? So are you bringing back the TIG kind of thing? And maybe that's how, she was brought in. And then Bennett was a production manager and stuff like that. So these people were, I think expecting it to go further. So what do? They bring in somebody else who's like, out of college, and they pay him $50,000 a year or something like that. But when you have an Oscar nominated producer gone, Farrah Taylor gone, I mean, these are very, very, big roles.
They're very prestigious people too. That would get. I mean, these kind of people give you credibility in the industry because they're Oscar winners or they're very, very serious individuals. So that most people are bound to take you more seriously if you have those kind of names. But if they're leaving, I mean,
yeah. So they're leaving, and and there's other people that have left over the years. But I'm just saying, like, to have these 3 people, a production manager, the company's head of marketing, and an Oscar-nominated producer who was tapped to lead content at Archewell, right? So all of these things that Netflix is saying, they're all leaving.
But do you know what I see? That the only thing that they have left is Invictus and the African parks, because I heard that thing Harry was going to go to Africa and do a documentary. But with the scandal right now with African parks, rapists and abusing and all kinds of things, I don't think that's going to come off. And now they're going to Invictus because it seems to me that the only thing they have left is the Invictus thing. Really, I mean.
Yeah, but if you think about it, those guys are like, okay, you guys took over in the summertime and just tried to make it your own, and it's not about your own. And so I think that they're trying to make it look like it's better. And they did obviously come out with a statement, and then they also were talking about the other thing that they did earlier this week was something like the online child safety stuff in the Archewell Foundation, and they made it seem like they're the ones who've been doing all the work, and
they're the ones who passed the legislature.
It was just like, it's like the Senate is doing it, and the Senate is working together, Democrats and Republicans to pass it, and then all of a sudden Harry and Meghan gotta stick their head in there and say, oh well, it was also part of us.
And the problem is that they're using royal titles from another nation, from from the UK, to give an opinion about U.S. politics, which is this is insanity. So, what do you think is going to happen to Harry? I mean, give us your best juicy thing that you think is going to happen to Harry and Meghan. I mean, I was shocked about how he dissed John Travolta, because the only person who's dining on Princess Diana are Harry and Meghan. I mean, I'm surprised John Travolta didn't say anything back to that idiot. Like.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, obviously we're going to find out about this movie, and their contract does expire at the end of, I think it's this year or maybe the beginning of 2025 with Netflix. And, but you have the Invictus Games that doesn't actually happen until 2025. And I honestly think that it's 1 year to go. I'm not sure that they have the sponsors that they need. I think that the last summer Invictus Games were kind of a flop. And just, they talk about, Archie and Lily may even tag along to the 2025 Invictus Games, so that way Meghan kind of like piques Netflix interest. Okay, well, they're maybe going to bring the kids or whatever. Okay, it's not easy. But if you're a producer, and you can make a movie for, let's say, $5 or $6 million all in or something like that. So the rights were $3 million, which is a little pricey, but let's say Meghan and Harry can, and it's not going to be Harry because Harry doesn't do any work, but let's say Meghan gets it done for another $5, $6, $7 million and can get something in the can ready for Netflix for $10 million and gets maybe, I don't know, several 100,000 people to watch it. And, they have their metrics and stuff. And if she can churn out a bunch of these, then Netflix would be very happy. But the problem is that she doesn't want to churn out just kind of these little tiny movies. She wants to be a huge, huge star, as she wants to be nominated for an Academy Award. And, somebody like Adam Sandler, although Uncut Gems, he should have got an Oscar nomination for, he doesn't care. He's just trying to make good movies and to keep Netflix happy and to keep subscribers coming and to keep generating the movies and bringing in popular people and stuff and just, doing that. And that's the way the Netflix is going to go. There's not going to be any of these $250 million Hunter of the Flower Moon or Killers of the Flower Moon or whatever. There's not going to be any more of these $250 million movies like that because Netflix is going to go broke. So, you need to find these people that are going to generate stuff and everything. And so they've turned to, WWE. And
that's there. I got to ask you two questions before we're going to, you've been so generous with your time. WME, I phoned the agency and another YouTuber phoned the agency, right? And we asked for the Duchess of Sussex. And we were both told separately. I didn't even call Pidina. She did it on her own, or I did it on my own. We were both told that they don't represent Meghan Markle, WME. That's one. And number two, the Suits reunion. Did you see that the Suits cast are, I don't know, they're doing a relaunch, and then they did this commercial for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, Meghan Markle. What's from your take on both? I mean, of these things.
Well, I think that something like Meghan doesn't want to be associated with Suits, so she was never going to do that. I think it shows that Suits has this popularity again because of the fact that nobody watched it on USA Network. It has nothing to do with Meghan Markle. It has to do with the fact that there is a show that people are able to stream that they weren't able to stream before. That's like a bunch of seasons long. So then they have something to watch and that they hadn't watched it before. And so it takes off. And the next thing you know, they're doing a Suits commercial. And now they're talking about bringing like Suits back to life as a different show with different casts and stuff like that. And I think that that's a great idea. But they did it for
like LA Law, right?
I'm sorry.
Kind of like LA Law.
Yeah, it's kind of like LA Law.
I remember LA Law.
Right. And so, they did it for this Elf Cosmetics thing. And, they got 3 of them. It's not the biggest stars from Suits. I think they got Gina Torres and Rick Hoffman and Sarah Rafferty to do it. But you got to realize the show was on for 9 years. But nobody had watched it until it went to Netflix last year. And so everyone's like, wow, we got a new show to watch and there's 9 seasons of it. So, boom, 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 boom. Let's watch it. It has nothing to do the fact that, Meghan Markle is on it. It's just like everybody's desperate to watch some kind of show.
There's a YouTuber. So, sorry, let me just tell you this for you. This little thing. There's a YouTuber who actually took a hit for all of us. And he watched the entire series and he counted how many minutes Meghan Markle was in the entire all seasons. She was in it for 138 minutes, which I think comes like to 1.5 minute per episode.
Yeah. So it's not, that much at all. And she's not the star of it. And I think obviously I think that Netflix knew a lot of people are watching it, but again, it has nothing to do with Meghan Markle. It's a fine show. And the thing is, it's a good show to watch on streaming. It's a crappy show if it's getting interrupted by commercials every 6 minutes. But with Netflix, you don't have to worry about that. So everybody's kind of exploring it and enjoying it. And I think that's great.
But what do you think, Meghan, is going to happen with her? So you don't think that they want her there, or what do you think? Because she actually said, there was articles posted and that she's going to get to direct one of them, that she was going to make the biggest deal on TV history because they want her really badly.
Okay. If she wants to come do a cameo, that's great, right? Come do a cameo. But is she gonna do a cameo? She's not gonna go direct an episode because there's not enough in it for her. And what if the episode is crap, right? So she's not gonna go direct an episode or anything like that. I think that if she wants to produce, because the producers are the ones that are going to get the Academy Awards, right? It's the producers that get that stuff. Directors obviously get Academy Awards, but she's not good enough. She's not going to be and doing an episode of Suits is not going to get her there. So I think that if she made a cameo, look, if I was in charge of Meghan Markle's image, I would make her do so many things that she doesn't want to do.
But the thing is, you can't control her because she doesn't listen to anybody.
I would make her the most relatable human being ever instead of what she is. And I would have her show up. Like let's say these three people from Suits who did the Elf commercial, right? Let's say they showed up to present an award somewhere or something like that, right? I would try and have her show up. You got to like humanize her and make her more relatable. And for whatever reason, she becomes more and more unrelatable. And
she's so pretentious. Now she thinks she's royal. She's above everybody else. And that's what my feeling. I mean, and she doesn't listen to anybody. I mean, would you take her on as a client?
Oh, as a lawyer? Yeah, because she's got money. But yeah, for sure. I don't care. Yeah. But I think that you're right. She's like, okay, instead of being a B- list star, she thinks that she's A+ list because she's who she married and she's royalty and stuff, forgetting the fact that she is essentially, a briefcase girl who did the oral sex scene in 90210. And, wasn't that great of an actress to begin with, but honestly could have had a fine career, and, done movies and whatever. She could have done all that, but she's not A+ list. She has a chance and opportunity, and she's had this chance and opportunity for the last 4 or 5 years and hasn't made the most of it. The only thing she's done is scorched earth kind of stuff, which is fine for a while, but then you need to have your own brand. And she doesn't have one.
Do you think that WME has dropped her? Because as I told you earlier,
no, they haven't dropped her.
You haven't dropped them. Why did they tell us that that she wasn't in the roster?
They're not going to tell you that, but
they did tell us. They did tell me in P Dina because we.
Yeah, no, but she hasn't been dropped.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. So
I would say I think that there was a rumor that they canceled the contract. I think like in January or something like that. But the problem is that it's not something you could ever keep out of Variety. It's just not. If they were dropped, and here's the other thing. Let's say they dropped the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, okay? Let's say they dropped them. But that doesn't mean they've dropped Meghan Markle. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they told, so I think that there's nothing in it for them to have Harry as a client because he doesn't want to do anything. All Harry needs to do is be with some kind of talent agency that handles people who do like speeches and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think that's all he needs.
He's already signed up, him and Meghan Markle, with the firm that of WME. They signed on with them in 2020
Right.
as speakers.
Correct. So I think that, you got to look at some language. And if WME says, yes, we don't have a contract with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, fine, but you still have it with Meghan Markle, that kind of thing. So it just, everybody's lawyers, so everybody's looking kind of this stuff. And the other thing is that it's only been, okay, they didn't sign until April of last year, right? 2023.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you have a contract that's only going to last 9 months. So let's say, let's look at April or 27th, May 1st of 2024. Let's look in a couple of months. Okay. But they just signed in May of 2023. So it's a little bit soon. Now, that doesn't mean, like I said, that, okay, well, the whole Sussex thing didn't work, but we still have Meghan Markle.
Yeah, but Meghan Markle, I mean, this is, the thing is with WME, in a whole year, they haven't been able to get her really anything, and we have, like you said, this is WME, right? Harry Emanuel is a pretty powerful man, and he hasn't been able to secure Meghan Markle anything. I mean, and that look with Paramount did not look good if she's working for Netflix, because isn't Paramount the rival of Netflix? And here we have Meghan Markle hobnobbing with the Paramount CEO.
Yeah, but you got to remember that Paramount's kind of up for sale, so Netflix could buy them. So I really, that one doesn't bother me. It bothers me in the sense that who they were posing with and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't bother me that they were doing something with Paramount, because Paramount's basically, up for sale anyway.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't
All of
know.
them are. Yeah, because and also so here's the thing. Meet Me at the Lake was bought in August. Oh no, it was because it was published in May of last year. And then Harry and Meghan got the rights in August. Okay, so that's and William Morris Endeavor would have, facilitated that deal. So I think that, the rumors of their demise with William Morris Endeavor are a little bit soon.
Yeah, but we did call, and it's really funny because P. Dinah, for example, she called twice. I called 4 times, right? And yeah, because I said, I want to make sure before I do the video. So I called, and this really nice lady answered. And I said, hello, I'm calling from Norway. I want to hire, one of your clients. And she did look in the computer. I guess so, because she said, let me look. And then she goes, nope, no, we don't have. And the same thing was told by P. Dinah. And then I said, are you sure? Because she said, and says, yeah, we don't have her here, and then I hung up. But then I thought, it's too easy, So I called back again. This very same lady answered, and she recognized my voice. She says, ma'am, blah. She was very polite, but she basically told me F off, I already told you. And then the third time I called another day at a different hour. At this time, a gentleman answered. And he said, let me put you on hold. And then he kind of, we need to know, we have to look, like, it was really weird. It wasn't like a straight up, you called, yeah, we have that. Because I even asked the lady, can you make sure it's there? Because I also asked for Rachel Meghan Markle. And I said, maybe you have it under a different agent. Can you put me in touch with the agent that manages that person? Right. And the same thing with P. Dinah. And then they told P. Dinah they were going to get back to her. She's still waiting for them to call her back. It's kind of weird because if you're, let's say, for reals, if I had been somebody wanted to hire Meghan Markle and you call, that's the frontline person. You call the number on their website. Right. That's the frontline person, because they didn't even tell me, oh, let me put you on hold and let me look, or yeah, this is the number you can contact for the agent. Because I assume, I don't know how it works. I assume that at WME, you have agents in charge of, they have like a client list, right?
Right. She's still on there. Look, I just checked to make sure that she was on like the Harry Walker website, which is part of WME, and she's still
but the Harry Walker, she's been on there since 2020, her and Harry.
Right. I don't think that she would have been dropped this quickly. It just it's
not
so
as a speaker.
soon.
As a speaker, she has.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. But I mean, the official announcement was I would give it till the end of April. I would give it to when they sign. It's going to be a 1-year thing, so I would give it that. She is represented by Brad Slater. She's represented by Ari, so
Then how come they can't get her anything? Why didn't
well,
they
they
get her
can't
to
get her
the
anything
Golden
because
Globes?
you can't change the fact that people don't necessarily, she doesn't have a great favorability. She doesn't have a great Q score, so that's kind of the thing. But I also think that there has been a lot of press this week from them, like, oh, we're going to the Invictus Games. Oh, they're talking about the what was going on through Congress and stuff like that. There was like, they hadn't had any press releases, and then this week they had like 3, which was really strange.
It's
So
really weird, isn't it? Especially after Catherine being in the hospital. And I mean, I just, what do you think is going to happen with them? How do you see the way that you've been seeing? What do you project, Enty? It's
I
really going to happen with them? Because I mean, if you take their background and their history, usually we look at these people's behaviors in the past and what's happening with them, and we can make a safe prediction. What do you think is going to happen with them? If I
they
mean, yeah,
need to generate money for
what if they
WME.
don't? What if that seems
Then
to
they'll
be?
drop them. Then they'll drop them.
But what do you think will happen to them? I mean, what are their options?
Okay, if they're dropped, listen, as much as you might think that they're just going to disappear off the face of the earth, they won't, because there's still going to be companies and stuff that are going to pay them, $500,000 a year, $500,000 there to give a speech, and they'll still make several $1,000,000 a year doing speeches and stuff. Will they, dominate the world? No. Will they, lick their wounds and go into hiding? I mean, that's what Harry probably wants to do anyway. So
Yeah.
it's kind of Meghan that's like pushing it forward, pushing it forward, and pushing it forward. So, I think that if WME dropped them and stuff, that maybe they would stay quiet for a year, reevaluate what they wanted to do, and like I said, they did drop all these other staffers and stuff. So I think there is a little bit of retrenchment. They are deciding what they want to do moving forward, and that perhaps they thought that they were bigger than they actually are, and so they're really cutting back. So 2024 is going to be a make or break year, and I think that we'll have a really good idea at the end of the year whether or not they're just going to kind of go into hiding, or whether or not they're going to try and push forward, or whether or not it's just going to be Meghan pushing forward and Harry's going to be staying behind. But they're never going to go broke. Okay, so if anybody is ever wondering, oh, they're going to go broke, no, there's always going to be somebody who's going to give them some kind of deal, and it's just, that's the way it is. So they're just never, ever, ever going to be gone. So they'll be there, and they're going to be in your lives, but hopefully they won't be front and center as much.
I wanted to ask you something, because you said that, I was one asking because Meghan married that idiot, right?
Yes.
And then now she thought that with the royal title, she was going to go back to Hollywood, and she was going to knock on them doors that had been firmly shut on her face because of her lack of talent. And now with the title, everything was going to open, the red carpet. People were going to fight over her, because at the very beginning, I feel that was the perception in the United States. Oh, the royals, Harry and Meghan, have fled the UK, them racist British people, them racist king or queen or whatever. But things have backfired. But yet I feel that it's like Meghan doesn't understand that she's not in the same position as originally. And I don't think she has a staff who tells her that, you're not that valuable. What do you think she wants now? That, because why would she need to work like Oprah? Oprah is a black.
She wants to be Oprah. She wants to be like a David Geffen. She wants to be an Oprah. And I think, but at the same time, she doesn't want to do some of the work, which is why you saw such a lack of work product from Spotify and everything. She wants the title and the glamour and, the curtsying and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, they need to have an income, so how do you get that income? And remember, Harry's never had to work for an income before, because he was paid from like the Duchy of Cornwall and stuff like that. So what do you do? And so they got to figure out how to make the money. And, it's a mess. And at first, because they were basically just, selling stories about themselves and all the dirt and everything like that, it was fairly easy to keep making money. It was fairly easy to be in the spotlight, but all of that's done. There's no dirt left to spill. So here you go. You got to make a living. And how are you going to make the living? And they don't have any clue how to do it. So
especially now that they're cut off from the royal family, they can't get any dirt unless the York sisters are giving them information. But I mean,
correct.
So you think, yeah, I don't know, because a lot of things have been happening. I've heard rumors that Harry wants to go back, that he's missing the UK, that he's looking for a home over there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how do you see that marriage work
Well, I mean, I
out?
think that he does want to, sometimes be over there. Obviously, he's probably homesick. It's all he's known for his whole life, other than, short, you know, overseas deployments or whatever. So it's what he knows, and he has been gone now for many years. He's only allowed to go over there for a day or two at a time, because that's all Meghan lets him go over there for.
Isn't that
So,
terrible?
yes, I think that he would like to go spend more time. Up until the whole Meghan thing, he had a lovely relationship with his brother and his sister-in-law, and he lived with them, and everything seemed to be hunky-dory. And then Meghan came along and isolated him from everybody and said, you need to stay away, which is why she moved him to North America, so that way he would be dependent on her. He has nobody. If you look at when he's been the happiest, it's when he was on his polo tour. We actually saw him smile with nachos. He smiled. That's the only time that he smiled in many years. So I think that, something is going to happen. 2024 is the make or break it year. And I think that we are going to see some big changes when it comes to Harry and Meghan and their lives.
So you don't think that they're doing that, because I heard that they're doing the Diana thing with Meghan, because Harry, for some reason, wants to convince the world that Meghan is like Diana.
I think he used to want to convince. I don't think that he necessarily feels the same way anymore. Every year it's just like, okay. And they keep going to the Caribbean, and they're not really doing anything. They're just like basically taking vacation after vacation after vacation.
With no kids.
With no kids. It will be interesting to see if the kids do show up, next year at the Invictus Games. It'll be interesting to see if there is a Winter Invictus Games next year. So like I said, 2024 is the make or break year. I'm excited to watch it happen.
Oh, me too. And just to let you go, was there a premiere of the Bob Marley movie in Los Angeles? Because there was one in London, and Harry and Meghan weren't there.
No, they weren't at the London one. And I think Idris Elba was very, very happy that they weren't there. He kind of said that he didn't want them there. And, as far as like the LA premiere, it was like, it's, I think, on Tuesday, I want to say. So it hasn't happened yet. Yeah, I think it's on Tuesday.
I wonder if they're going to go.
Yeah, I think it's on Tuesday. And I'm trying to remember where it is. But it's on Tuesday. So it hasn't happened yet.
Well, that's going to be interesting. Do you think they'll show?
Maybe. I don't know. They've done the Jamaica one. It would make more sense for them to have gone to this one rather than the Jamaica one. But, yeah. So it is this week, and then the actual movie comes out on Valentine's Day.
I like to know if they're going to attend the premiere. So if it's this Tuesday, it should be on Westwood, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, Tuesday it could be Westwood. I doubt it'll be. I'm trying to think if it could be anywhere else. It's a Paramount. I mean, they could have it at Paramount. It's. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be. I just know it's on Tuesday.
Okay, I'll keep my eye out. But I want to thank you for coming here, Enty, and I hope you join us some other time at the Royal Mess. But I'm going to leave all of your links. And Mr. Enty Lawyer, as usual, you're a fountain of everything, and I love talking about Alec Baldwin. I'm going to be on top of it. I hope he goes to trial, because at least they should make him sweat a little.
It would be nice to see him sweat.
Unlike Andrew, who said he didn't sweat, but But anyways, thank you very much, guys, and thank Mr. Enty. And all the links are in the video description. Go watch him. It's, we have to. I love everything. I know we all love and watch him all the time, because you all come to my channel. Did you see what Enty said? But anyways, thank you very much for coming, Enty.
Of course. I hope that you have a great week.
You too, sweetie. Thank you very much. Bye.